The tapestry you can unweave by tracing the histories and motivations of the boss enemies in Elden Ring is nothing short of fascinating. We can shine light on the specific relationships between the demigods from sources we never would have expected. When we started our research on Commander Niall, we assumed we knew who he served based on the most straightforward items he was connected to. But again, we were forced to throw out our original assumptions as we uncovered more strings and followed them to our newest theories. Before we jump into our dissection of Commander Niall, we wanted to ask our community to take a second to help our channel with YouTube's algorithm by subscribing. With that out of the way, let's begin. Niall is the commander of Castle Sol. He commands spectral knights as well as the banished knights and exiled soldiers found throughout. We believe the veteran's prosthesis tells us the story of how he came to command his troops. Bladed prosthetic leg enwreathed with the power of lightning, instead attached to the fist. Commander Niall, veteran of Castle Sol, offered this prosthesis in exchange for the lives of defeated knights held prisoner. He went on to lead these men as an army of no nation. So we believe he took these soldiers and knights under his wing, creating his own army. This would explain why underneath the cloth of Niall's armor is the banished knight's armor. But why would Niall need an army if he already held the title of commander? When following Latenna's questline, we learn that the other half of the Haligtree medallion that will allow us passage into the consecrated snowfield is kept at Castle Sol. Right out of the gate, it seems as though Niall reports to either Miquella or Malenia, as these two are the most likely candidates to hide the medallion from those who would disturb Miquella's sleep. But his armor immediately throws this into question. Every piece of the veteran's set has the same description lines. Old armor that has seen many battles, worn by Niall, the veteran general of Sol. Niall was a lone survivor who commanded spirits to defend his long-past master. This aging general could not die, nor did he have anywhere to fade away. So Niall's master is long past, which means it could not possibly be Miquella or Malenia, as Malenia is slumbering, awaiting Miquella's return, and Miquella is likely not dead, but also stuck in a deep slumber. While this may explain why he no longer has access to his old army, it does present the question, who does Niall serve? Within Castle Sol, we can find the Eclipse Shuttle. This weapon is the storied sword and treasure of Castle Sol that depicts an eclipsed sun drained of color, one of the legendary armaments. It tells us that, in Sol, the sight of an eclipse inspires a dreadful awe, preventing an onlooker from averting his gaze. This shuttle also comes with the unique Ash of War, Death Flare, the description of which tells us it sets the lustrous sun ablaze with the Prince of Death's flames, inflicting the death ailment upon foes. Follow up with an additional input to bring down the armament, triggering an explosion. This means that the legendary armament associated with Castle Sol is directly tied to Godwyn the Golden, and we know from the veteran set that Niall is the veteran of Sol who has seen many battles. Between this, Niall's ability to control the spirits of the dead, just as we see Fia can do in our confrontation with her, and his ability to use lightning attacks, which are associated with Godwyn's dragon cult, we see strong evidence that Castle Sol once belonged to Godwyn the Golden, and at one time, Niall was his commander. While Niall likely once served Godwyn, it's possible he now works alongside Malenia and Miquella. We believe this not only because of the Haligtree medallion half, but also a ghost that we can find in Castle Sol. The ghost says, "Lord Miquella, forgive me. The sun has not been swallowed. Our prayers were lacking. Your comrade remains soulless. I will never set my eyes upon it now, your divine Haligtree." We know that Godwyn is the soulless demigod, and Castle Sol was likely at one time his territory. So this leads us to believe he is the soulless comrade this ghost is referring to. This means that in some way, shape, or form, Godwyn and Miquella were allies. Now, if we accept this as true, it makes sense why Niall would want to help Miquella by protecting the Haligtree medallion. Perhaps there is hope yet that his former master can be restored. We believe there is further evidence of this connection from another commander we can encounter, Commander O'Neill. We find Commander O'Neill and Caelid in the middle of the bloom left over by Melania and Radahn's historic battle. O'Neill is joined by ghostly exiled soldiers, much in the same way Niall has his spectral banished knights. Between their spectral companions and their identical armor, it's clear that at one point these two commanders were part of the same military force. Perhaps they still are in a way. When we defeat Commander O'Neill, we earn two items, the unalloyed gold needle and the Commander's Standard, both of which point towards O'Neill's current master. The Commander's Standard tells us a beaten red battle standard is furled around this time-worn halberd. Even after his lord was fled, Commander O'Neill continued to brandish this flag in the devastation of the rot-eaten field of battle. The sole veteran who remembers this battle with pride. While some may think O'Neill could have served Radahn, we believe the line, "after his lord fled," clearly implies that he served Melania. While neither of the demigods ran from this battle, Melania did fall unconscious and was carried away by clean-rot knight Finlay. Also consider that O'Neill has the ability to wield Scarlet Rot, and we can see definitively that he must have been serving Melania. So if we accept the connection between O'Neill and Niall, we also have to accept the connection of who they may serve. O'Neill clearly served Melania at some point. It's likely he let go of his allegiance to Godwyn long ago and devoted himself to a new master, while Niall may be holding on to the hope that his allegiance may make it possible to someday reunite Godwyn's body and soul. Whether or not this is possible, we have no idea, but at some point, Miquella's followers believed there was a way to do this through eclipsing the sun and draining its power, and that belief must have come from somewhere. Commander Niall is a formidable enemy even without his spectral banished knights, and while it's easy to assume he's closely tied to Miquella after finding the Haligtree medallion, the breadcrumbs of lore that can be found through Castle Sol and his association with Commander O'Neill opens up a much larger picture of a commander trying his best to serve a long-dead lord the only way he knows how, by aiding his allies and trying whatever he possibly can to bring him back. We hope you enjoyed this dive into Commander Niall and what we can learn about him through the environmental clues throughout the Lands Between. Make sure you comment with any details you think we may have missed or any theories of your own. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. We can't wait to see you again for more Elden Lore.